Throughout the Star Wars saga, Luke Skywalker is repeatedly tempted by the dark side. The Sith don't just seek power, they crave ultimate domination, and Luke represents their biggest prize. From Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader, each trying to recruit him as an apprentice, to his haunting experience in the Cave of Evil on Dagobah, and even his moment of near failure when he considered striking down Kylo Ren, Luke was courted by darkness for as long as he was a Jedi. But why was the dark side so obsessed with him? The chilling truth is that Luke Skywalker, like his father before him, possesses an incredibly deep bond with the Force. He isn't just strong, he has the potential to be the most powerful wielder of the Force in the entire galaxy. This immense power is exactly why Palpatine was so determined to bring Luke under his control. If he could corrupt him, he would have in his grasp the ultimate weapon, a Sith so strong that no force in the universe could stand in his way. This isn't just speculation. Palpatine himself confirms this in Age of Resistance, Supreme Leader Snoke No. 1, 2019, by Tom Taylor and Leonard Kirk. As Snoke pushes Kylo Ren to face the Cave of Evil, he senses Luke's lingering presence. When Kylo grows frustrated and accuses Snoke of speaking about Luke with admiration, Snoke forcefully corrects him. "If I had Luke Skywalker by my side instead of you, I would already rule the entire galaxy." Why Palpatine was so obsessed with recruiting Luke? Palpatine always had plans within plans, and at the center of those plans was the Skywalker lineage. Initially, he placed all his bets on Anakin. He saw him as the perfect apprentice, the one who would carry the Sith legacy forward. But after Anakin's battle with Obi-Wan Kenobi on Mustafar, things changed. His near-fatal injuries robbed him of much of his potential. As George Lucas himself explained in a 2005 Vanity Fair interview, Anakin, as Skywalker, as a human being, was going to be extremely powerful, but he ended up losing his arms and a leg and became partly a robot. So a lot of his ability to use the Force, a lot of his powers, are curbed at this point, because as a living form, there's not that much of him left. So his ability to be twice as good as the Emperor disappeared, and now he's maybe 20% less than the Emperor. So that isn't what the Emperor had in mind. He wanted this really super guy, but that got derailed by Obi-Wan. So he finds that, with Luke, he can get a more primo version if he can turn Luke to the dark side. You'll see, as this goes on, Luke is faced with the same issues and practically the same scenes that Anakin is faced with. Anakin says yes, and Luke says no. This explains why Palpatine was so fixated on Luke. He was essentially a second chance, a fresh, unbroken version of what Anakin was meant to be. If Palpatine could successfully turn Luke, he would finally get the ultimate Sith warrior he had always desired. Luke Skywalker would have conquered the galaxy as a Sith. If Luke had joined the Sith, the consequences would have been catastrophic. The Rebel Alliance, which was already struggling against the Empire, would have lost its greatest hope. Luke wasn't just another Jedi, he was the symbol of the rebellion, the one person who could stand against the Emperor. His fall would have shattered the morale of the entire resistance. But the real danger wasn't just what Luke could do as a Sith, it was what he could become. Palpatine didn't just want Luke as a powerful enforcer, he wanted to use him. In Star Wars Darth Vader No. 40 by Greg Pak and Raphael Ienco, Palpatine reveals that he draws power from his apprentices, using them as conduits for the dark side. He tells Vader outright that as long as his apprentices remain connected to the dark side, they can never surpass him. Had Luke fallen, Palpatine could have fed off his power, making himself even stronger. Worse yet, Palpatine had always sought a way to transfer his essence into a younger, more powerful body. If he had succeeded, Luke wouldn't have just been a Sith. He could have become a vessel for the Emperor himself. Luke Skywalker's struggle with the dark side wasn't just a passing temptation, it was constant. The Cave of Evil on Dagobah showed him what he feared most, becoming another Vader. In Return of the Jedi, his anger nearly consumed him when he attacked Vader in the Emperor's throne room. And even in his later years in The Last Jedi, he briefly considered killing Kylo Ren out of fear of what he might become. Luke was never immune to the dark side. He was always walking the edge. But what makes his story so powerful is that, time and time again, he chose not to give in. If he had taken the easy path, if he had embraced his anger, given in to his hatred, and joined Palpatine, the galaxy would have been doomed. The Sith would have won. Balance in the Force would have been lost forever. There would be no redemption for Vader, no future for the Jedi, and no hope left for the rebellion. Fans of the original Star Wars Legends canon already know this because they saw it happen. In Star Wars Dark Empire, 1991, by Tom Veitch and Cam Kennedy, Luke joins the reborn Palpatine in order to undercut and defeat the Emperor. But in doing so, he quickly finds himself consumed by the dark side. Luke's decision isn't made out of loyalty. He believes he can infiltrate Palpatine's forces, learn the secrets of the dark side, and ultimately use that knowledge to destroy the Sith from within. But this plan backfires in the worst possible way. The moment Luke begins using the dark side, he feels its intoxicating pull. And before he realizes it, he's not just pretending to serve the Emperor, he's actually becoming his pawn. Palpatine, having lured Luke into his grasp, easily asserts control over him. The dark side isn't something that can be wielded without consequence, and Luke's resistance slowly crumbles as its power twists him. It's only when Leia joins her own force power with Luke's that he's able to break free. Without her intervention, Luke would have been lost, proving exactly what Palpatine had always believed. If Luke had fallen, he would have become the Sith's ultimate weapon. Luke wouldn't have been a different Sith, he would have been doomed. Anyone hoping that Luke might have slain Palpatine and forged his own path as a Sith Lord will be disappointed by how Star Wars itself contradicts this idea. The evidence overwhelmingly suggests that Luke wouldn't have been an independent Dark Lord. He would have been completely under Palpatine's control. Palpatine's influence over his apprentices wasn't just psychological, it was a fundamental part of how the dark side worked under his rule. As seen in Star Wars, Darth Vader number 40 by Greg Pak and Raphael Ienco, Palpatine's apprentices are never meant to surpass him. He manipulates them, drawing power from their rage and fear while ensuring they remain subservient. If Luke had turned, he wouldn't have been a rogue Sith carving out his own destiny. He would have been exactly what Palpatine wanted, a weapon with unlimited potential, but no true freedom. Palpatine was right to fear Luke's power, but he also knew how to control it. If Luke had fallen, there would have been no stopping the Sith's dominion over the galaxy.